Greetings, everybody. This is Silver Thunder, the extraordinarily ordinary gaming squirrel, coming back at you with another game due week, as it were, and that is Monster Hunter Wilds. Yes, I am coming back to Wilds after probably, I wouldn't say an extended absence, I would say about a semi-infrequent, kind of dipping my toes back in every now and again, especially now that the performance issues are much more ironed out. It's been more fun to come back and actually play a hunt or two every now and again, kind of finishing some grinding goals for the weapons and everything like that. And I especially wanted to come back after the expansion has been announced. So we'll get into more details about that later, because that's what we're going to be talking about today. But we are hunting a tempered Arkveld today. I believe it was a 4-star, maybe 5-star, I can't remember. But no, perhaps, I apologize, I can't remember exactly off the top of my head. But yeah, we're hunting tempered Arkveld today with my bow. We are at high rank, of course. That's the only time that you see these tempered big baddies. And yeah, we're going to go and deliver some pain to this Arkveld. I am very proud of this hunt. But yeah, today I wanted to hop on and talk about that Wilds expansion and also just Monster Hunter Wilds in general. I had mentioned in, I think, a video or two ago about, I have ultimately mixed feelings about Monster Hunter Wilds, leaning positive, I would say. I guess if it was a Steam page review, that it would be, I think that category is mostly positive. It's the next tier above mixed when it comes to the rating scale. And that's about my feelings about Wilds overall. But before I get into my opinion about that, I just wanted to say that I am extremely excited about this expansion. Ascendance looks really cool. That new biome, the Skybound Eyrie, looks amazing. I wonder if there's going to be another area as well. Definitely need to go over what monsters that I am hoping will make their return for this expansion. I think the fan base and myself overall are in unison when we say Gammoth. I know that with the Skybound Eyrie, it doesn't seem like it'd be a place where Gammoth could be, but you never know. You gotta hold out hope. That's the only member of the Fated Four that has not come back since Gen U. So definitely holding out hope for Gammoth. Probably Nergigante would be a good candidate for this expansion, because it's supposed to revolve around Elder Dragons, and he revolves around Elder Dragons for food. And honestly, I think that he would be a really great addition to the Wilds roster, especially with these new mechanics that we have with focus mode and everything like that. So excited to see him. We have a monster that looks and reminds me a lot of Kurapeko. A lot of people say it's a combination of Kurapeko and Bowstrax, so it makes me wonder if in addition to him you will actually see Kurapeko, the man, the myth, the legend himself, the Burb, come back and summon a friend. Makes you wonder too if Devil Joe might make a return in this game as well. That would be cool to see, and to see how he would interact possibly with the Elders and the other monsters in this expansion. I don't know. Doesn't necessarily seem like it's a biome that Devil Joe would be in, but you know what? Joe's gonna Joe, and there ain't no place that a Joe can't go, you know? But another prediction of mine, and this is going to be the hottest take ever, Guardian Plesioth. I'll just leave it at that. No context or explanation needed. I think it's going to be coming back in a Guardian version. We'll see if I'm correct. Definitely, and of course, it probably goes without saying, but Shigaru, Magala, and Chaotic Gore are most likely going to be making their returns in this expansion as well. And I mentioned Valstrax. Valstrax is likely to return. This seems like the perfect place, the perfect biome to have him. It's very similar in the one that you fight him in Gen U. I can't remember if that was called like the Ancient Temple or something along those lines. It's been a while since I played Gen U. Need to really hop back into that again. And then also, given Gemma's little plushie that she has being a Jiggy, people are thinking that perhaps Giganox might make a return. Who knows? We'll have to see. But yeah, what are your predictions for the monsters coming back in the expansions? Throw them up in the comments below. But yeah, before we get into, I really want to look at and think about what I want from the Monster Hunter Wilds expansion. And before we do that, I think it would be better to contextualize it with what I thought about Wilds, the things that I liked, and the things that I would like to see the expansion improve. So my overall thoughts about Monster Hunter Wilds, like I said earlier, mostly positive on the Steam rating. So we're looking at about like maybe a 60, well, I think it's 70 percentile and above on Steam for the reviews. I overall enjoyed it. I put, about 150-ish hours into it. And I also own it both on PlayStation 5 and Steam, so I like it enough to own it across a couple of consoles. But it has not necessarily kept me coming back nearly as much as the other Monster Hunters. I think now that the performance issues was probably the biggest thing that was holding it back for me at first. But now that that's fixed, I think a second playthrough will be a lot more enjoyable for me. So ultimately, it is a solid but flawed entry into the Monster Hunter series, and I feel like the people have said that about every single Monster Hunter game, especially in recent years. But I think this one really does get some things really right, but also some things, I don't know, I just feel very wrong at the same time, too. It's just my honest opinion. I represent the mid-range crowd of PC. I have an RX 6650 XT, and I believe I just upgraded, but I can't remember. I think it's a AMD 5700X processor just upgraded. And definitely whenever I upgraded my CPU is when I saw the biggest performance increase for this game. My graphics card is pretty much a jack of all trades for 1080p. I don't really game in 4K or even 2K. Just usually stick with 1080p. So I feel like that I would comfortably represent the average range for most PC gamers, especially in the economic climate. After all, I didn't want to, whenever I was taking my gaming rig from the humans, I didn't want to take like the biggest, beefiest one. I didn't want to necessarily be chased down to that quickly. But, it's a humble setup, and I enjoy it. It does what I want, and I don't necessarily have to make a habit of raiding human households anymore for the stuff that I need in it. So, priorities. But, in its original incarnation, starting from the beta, I had the same graphics card. Wilds ran horribly, absolutely horribly. I had to use a third-party upscaler. I forget what it's called at the top of my head, but it was one that you could buy on Steam for like $7. I had to use that in order to get Wilds even functional. I say functional, anything basically above 30 FPS. And that was at 1080p. And it had such a very inconsistent, like the monsters and the locations and the effects look amazing. But like the up-close people models, especially like NPCs, clothing, really had some terrible textures to them, like very inconsistent. Like overall as a graphical package, I think Monster Hunter World is superior to Monster Hunter Wilds in every respect. That's just how I view it. And I feel like other creators have echoed those same views when it comes to Monster Hunter Wilds. So I don't know if the expansion is going to necessarily be able to fix that per se. Like a visual style, it's kind of baked into something from the inception of development. I would like to see like better textures, especially since it looks like a lot of the NPCs are having a bit of a facelift in the sense that there's a time skip, so a lot of them have different appearances. Maybe they can fix some of those clothing textures between now and then, but we'll have to see. But the biggest strength of Monster Hunter Wilds is that its gameplay is super smooth. I really enjoy, I'm a bow main, but really have enjoyed using the bow in this game. As you can see, I've been kind of, with the help of Steve here, I've been shredding this tempered Arkveld, something that used to take me over 20 minutes, but the bow just feels so good to play in this game. But another thing that I did not really like about Wilds that I hope that they'll improve in the expansion is the story. If you're going to include a story, especially if you're going to be as heavy-handed as Wilds was with the story, they need to really practice the art of show, don't tell. Monster Hunter Wilds was a lot of telling in its story, a lot of characters explaining to you what's going on instead of you being able to interpret it for yourself. If the expansion could do a lot less of that, and also just kind of be, have no railroad mandatory like wildlife biome tour sections, that would be great as well. A big strength of the other Monster Hunter games is the emergent exploration that you got from going around the world yourself without a character telling you where to go, or the sacred autopiloting you, and things like that. And I hope that there's a lot, especially since this is going to be the Master Rank expansion, I hope there's going to be significantly less of that and more of just, you accept a quest, maybe get like a brief introduction to the biome, but then, from there, they give you a general goal of, take on this quest. Kind of like the traditional quest structure. Do this many quests, and then the urgent. That's the word I was looking for. The urgent quest will appear, and then it'll move you on to the next rank of Master Rank, and so on and so forth. But we'll have to see. But that's an improvement that I would like to see. I also feel like that Monster Hunter Wilds has overall kind of encouraged me to be a bit more of a sloppy player, at least whenever I'm playing Wilds, because there's a lot more safety nets. Like, you probably noticed it a couple times in this hunt. I rely on the Sacred to get me out of a tough situation a few times, and I really, I can't do that whenever I'm going back to World. Maybe to an extent Rise, but, it's not nearly as much as pronounced as it is here. Same thing with like the Palicos. The Palicos are really overpowered in this game because they can basically do all the specialist tools. So, I don't know. If they could key back on that or have hunts that limit your ability to utilize those things, that would be awesome. That would be a preference of mine. I feel like that probably those mechanics are not going to be taken out of the game. Obviously, they're just baked into it. That'd probably be something that I would like to see on a future entry as opposed to the expansion. Just realistically, it's just not going to be taken out between now and then. But yeah, that's another thing that I would like to see from this expansion is just, a little bit undermining the convenience that has been built by the mechanics for us in the base game. Overall, Monster Hunter Wilds, like I said, has stellar gameplay, inconsistent art direction, but overall really good, and a tremendous amount of potential. And I think that honestly the expansion can really take it to new heights, no pun intended. But yeah, I feel like that it's going to be a lot of fun. I'm really excited for it. Another thing that I would like to see, and this is a little quirk of mine, I don't think people generally agree with this. I really hope that there is an unconventional final boss. Like, each Monster Hunter game so far, we've gotten like a really big final boss, like a gigantic thing. I'm hoping that we have like a smaller monster that has a much more vicious and focused moveset, kind of more like a duel instead of a brawl, if that makes any sense. Something maybe even akin to a Soulsborne boss. I don't know if you agree with that. Please let me know if you have thoughts about that, and if you have thoughts about Monster Hunter Wilds, if you agree with me or disagree with me, throw it up in the comments below. But yeah, we're coming to a close in the hunt here. This Arkveld maybe has like about a minute left to live. So before he goes and I go, I want to announce that I'm going to be doing another full playthrough of Wilds, especially now that the performance issues are fixed, just to kind of get myself ready for the expansion. And to kind of see if my thoughts about the game really hold up. So if you want me to stream that, let me know. I might do that. I might fire up a Twitch account and do that. Otherwise, subscribe if you want to see more of this content. This hunt is over. Once again, just very, very thankful for all the support that I've gotten. And I'm very excited for Monster Hunter Ascendance, Monster Hunter Wilds Ascendance. Please, like I said, let me know what your thoughts are, what you're excited about. And I will go ahead and sign on off here. You can see my equipment. This has been Silver Thunder playing Monster Hunter Wilds. And I will catch you on the next one. Take care, everybody.